Ho ho ho, and welcome along to our 5th ever Christmas special, and we're back this year with our 3rd ever My Hero Academia Secret Santa video. If this is your first time seeing one of these, this is basically half an hour or so of me riffing and mildly roasting on characters from the My Hero Academia series via the power of random selection wheels. How does this all work? Well, I've used a random item generator to find various items off Amazon, not sponsored by the way, to create a list of money wouldn't buy prizes. I then placed said items on one wheel and the names of characters from My Hero Academia and Vigilantes on another. I spin the first wheel to see who will win a prize and spin the second wheel to see what they'll win. It's kind of like Secret Santa on the show, but with a greater risk of someone getting a prize that's either terrible, fantastic, or may even be life-threatening. Woohoo! With all that said and done, let's get to it. Take it away, me from the past. Ho ho ho, and now it's time to get this show on the road. Now I will just say for the sake of clarity, this is my 3rd attempt doing this. The first one had to be abandoned due to the fact I accidentally deleted one of the wheels, and the second time I did this the results weren't that fun, so I've decided to make a few modifications to it. I've reduced the number of items on the wheel and get rid of as many comedy cul-de-sacs as possible because, you know, this is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be a time to celebrate these characters or give them a bit of a roasting as we go along, so having stuff that just wasn't funny just wasn't what we were wanting. So we kick off without further ado by seeing who our first victim's going to be. I mean, who our first winner's going to be. It's going to be, for the first time this year, it is going to be Popstep, who is a character from the Vigilante season. I know that I mispronounced. It should be Vigilantes, not Vigilantes, but yeah, Vigilantes. That almost sounds like an attempt at a new Marvel super team made up of all the characters who are antis. Yes, there was me saying, let's have no more comedy cul-de-sacs, and here we are. She wins. Oh, no! No! Shit! No! Right off the oh, no. Bugger. Okay, well, to be fair, though, I think given the intro and all this, YouTube can't get pissy at me for swearing in the first 30 seconds of it now that we're like a minute into the video. Bugger! Oh, bollocks, she's won the Dick Cheney trading card. Yeah, so it turns out that taking all the crap stuff out of the way just leaves the rest of the crap, so yeah, she wins the Dick Cheney trading card, which is a genuine real thing that exists. You just saw it on your screen there. I'm not going crazy. I didn't make this up for a bit. This is a thing that existed. God damn it. Oh, well, we're off to a roaring start already. We now move on to Bakugo. Bakugo. Now, I have to be very careful here because recently there was a big, like, worldwide poll done of all the characters on My Hero Academia to see who was everyone's most favourite. This included not just heroes, it also included villains. And the idea is that whoever won it, whichever character won it, would have a statue made of them. And I think they're also getting either an OVA or a movie dedicated to them. So, if I get a bad result on this, there's going to be a lot of people out there that are going to be mighty pissed off at me that I've given him something inappropriate. So, yeah, let's see what he gets. He gets 42 ounces of children's clay. I love just how incredibly specific that was. 42 ounces of children's clay. I think that, I'm not sure if this is like plasticine. I think it's meant as more like the knockoff Play-Doh stuff. And I think that some of that knockoff Play-Doh stuff is incredibly flammable. So from a certain point of view, he could probably use it as plastic explosive. So it's not totally inappropriate. And it's just a lesson for all the mummies and daddies out there, all the aunties and uncles, nanny and granddads who are buying gifts for their sweet little darlings, their sweet little angels. Be very, very careful what you're buying them, because you might have accidentally bought your child's plastic explosive. But you know what, whatever, we'll see. Well, maybe not whatever, because we don't be giving kids plastic explosive, but, you know, we'll see where we go with this. And our next winner is going to be Mina Ashido, the pink one. It turns out who isn't actually, like, originally pink. It's just a byproduct of her power, apparently, or something like that. Wasn't really explained in the show, so let's see what we get here. taking a pause with which to have a little bit of swig of drink. And she's won an outdoor pool. I don't remember how big or small it is. If I haven't got a picture of it, I'll just use whatever outdoor pool I can find on the Amazon generator thing and just use that. So, okay, that's fine. Her and her friends can have a pool party now that Japan has now descended into like a post-apocalyptic nightmare in the main series. Well, it's something that they could do after the fact. Oh, what she could do is she could like set it up as a side business and then make lots and lots of money, and then she could become like a big corporate interest and secretly rule Japan from the sidelines as like a new corporate villain or something. For when the sequel series comes along, if there's ever going to be one, which by all accounts I don't think there is, and if there is, it's not going to be by the original creators. They seem to be going off to do something more Greco-Roman inspired. With that said, we move on to Rikido Sato, the super diabetes himself. Let's see what he will win. I think I've taken off all the food-based items from this list, so whatever he gets is going to be inappropriate, but hopefully it's fun. Hopefully it's fun in the way that the Dick Cheney trading card one was. And he's won a 24-pack of bog roll. Toilet roll for those who are uninitiated. So, yeah, if there's ever another pandemic, he at least has a head start on everyone else. And again, seeing as in the main series right now, things aren't terribly hot in Japan, he can corner the toilet roll market. He can be doing some shady, like, spiv background deals with all of it. We move on very quickly, very quickly. Hey, look, no more comedy cul-de-sacs. We're finding something to say about everything. Who thought that HDMI cables weren't comedy gold? Not me. Oh, it took me nearly 3 years to figure that out. We move on now to Sero, the guy whose superpower is sellotape. Office supply man. We do still have a few office supply related items on here, and some that very much aren't, so we'll see whether he gets something appropriate or kind of at least funny. And he gets something that's at least funny. Well, funny from a certain point of view. These are the Garbage Pail Kids cards. For those who don't know, there was a series of trading cards in the 1980s into the very, very early 90s. It kind of faded, kind of faded off around 87, 88, I think. They were basically a parody of the Cabbage Patch Kids, hence the name Garbage Pail Kids. Last year, Mineta won it, and that led to the cursed Mineta Garbage Pail Kid card. I'm bloody proud of that card. I'm very bloody proud of it. I should use it in more videos because it perfectly embodies what a little shitty goblin that guy is. And speaking of which, he might be next on this list. I don't know. It would be appropriate if it was, but it isn't. It's Makoto, who is another character from the Vigilante series. I'm not going to give anything away on her character for anyone who hasn't read it or potentially seen it in the event it gets an anime or an OVA at some point. So we'll see what she can get with all of this. I really don't know what would be appropriate for her, so at the very least we can try and get something that is funny. And she has won instant noodles! Ooh! You know what, since recently I've started eating these little instant noodle packs. I'm not going to say what the brand is, mostly due to the fact I can't remember, and they're bloody good. I've also found about these little like miso soup, like little packets as well that mix into it and it becomes like a noodle soup. Oh, those are bloody good. Wish I had one of those today, but I don't. I had to make do with like a cheap, like mildly chickeny tasty one. But I know you're fascinated by all this noodle talk, so we'll just put it to one side and tease it for a future video. My Hero Academia noodle tier list, go! We now move on to Kirishima, the guy that can kind of turn himself into stone. I very nearly said something inappropriate there, so let's find something that will erase that temptation to make an inappropriate joke with something to make it an inappropriate joke in a different form or something. He's going to win a toy spring. A toy spring! Not specifically a slinky, though. Not specifically a slinky. If I remember correctly, I don't think it is. And if I have put Toy Spring, it might be because I don't want to include like brand names or anything, so I've just gone Toy Spring. So he's won a Toy Spring, which he can use. He could straighten it out if it's made of metal. I really don't remember. I don't have the picture in front of me right now to make that conclusion. Since then, now we'll move on and see what we can get from our next spin. What we're going to end up getting, who will it be? It's going to be Denki Kaminari, the Electric Man. Old Sparky, they call him, the blonde bolt, even though his hair's kind of ginger, in a way. No one actually calls him these things, to be fair, for anyone joining us late, so we'll soon see what it gets. Again, I've taken away a lot of the really bum prizes that are kind of comedy cul-de-sacs. So instead it's one butt hinges. These are real things, they're not hinges for your butt, they're a specific type of hinge that's referred to as butt hinges. Way back in the day, at this point around 11 or 12 years ago, back when I was still doing radio, which is partly the inspiration for this particular video series, is I used to have just very random prizes that I just find in the local pound shop. I'd just buy stuff, just randomly, 5 quid's worth of prizes, or any random crap that I could get hold of, and some of those were butt hinges. In the end, the only person to ever win, I think, just won some little foamy balls. They could have won the Cars Life DVD, but they didn't. I still have that DVD, and it's super secret other bonus feature, which I've never discussed on a video, though I might be discussing it in a video in the not too distant future. Ooh, time to tease some things that are never going to come to pass. We're now going to move on to Knuckleduster. Again, this is another character from Vigilantes, and the best way that I could sum up Knuckleduster, for anyone that isn't familiar of him, imagine Batman. If Batman was not subtle in the slightest, and his only solution really to any problem that came his way was to just punch it really hard in the face over and over again. Which, to be fair, isn't that hard to imagine, because that's basically the version of Batman that existed in the Zack Snyder movies. So, yeah, that's saying that brings back a hell of a lot of awful memories. So we'll move on and see what he gets. So we have this really cool, tough guy superhero, and his one-scented marker pens, which kind of reminds me of those scented gel pens from the early 2000s. I never understood the point in those. I mean, yeah, cool, it gives off a kind of nice smell as you're writing, but there's never going to be a situation in your life where you're going to think to yourself, you know what, this handwritten letter I've got here, that's really neat. I want to sniff the letters. There's never going to be that moment in your life unless the person you write it to is a sex pervert. Speaking of which, I don't think we've had Mineta yet, so let's see if he comes up yet. Yeah, we've not had him yet. I couldn't see him behind the microphone. Hopefully my microphone's doing okay. I'm due a new one. Maybe we'll get one over the Christmas period. We'll soon see. It is time for Jiro, who I keep getting mistaken with Ojiro. That is why I've written something on my notes to make sure that I don't get two of them mistaken. I'll reveal what that is when we get to Ojiro, but for now, it is Jiro. I have removed the speaker tweeters and anything that is kind of music related from this, so at this point it's just kind of random crap. She's won the foam roller. Now there's a part of me wants to include this in our list of whammy prizes, bad prizes, but I suppose from a certain point of view this is useful. Like it's like a solid foam roller that you're supposed to use when you're exercising. I'm not 100% sure as to how you're supposed to use it. You're just supposed to use it. So, there is that, I suppose. Ooh! Yeah, I mean, he is a superhero, so I suppose you'd use it to bonk people on the head as well as hitting someone with one of those things could be. I mean, it could end up feeling like getting whacked in the head with a pool noodle, which can hurt like buggery if they really get you in the eye, but still. Oh, how appropriate. We move on from Jiro to Ojiro. Now I get to reveal the thing that I wrote on my notes to differentiate the two of them. You would have thought that I'd differentiate on based upon that power is, you know, Jiro, it'd be sound waves or music, Ojiro, tail. But no, for Ojiro, I just wrote the word bland. Because that's his whole thing, he's supposed to be Mr. Average. I originally thought that with him being designed in such a way that kind of made him look like Luke Skywalker from Star Wars 1, that this reflects some kind of super secret cool like aspect of him, but it didn't. And he just kind of exists in the background to kind of do something nominally interesting. And now he has a personalised sign. And that personalised sign can just say, bland. or tail, or average, or averagely bland, or blandly average. I don't know why I'm being so mean to him. He's never done me any harm. Granted, he's also fictional, so he's not really done anyone any harm. I should really save all my fire and venom for when Mineta comes around and hope that he gets some inappropriate, or terrible I should say. It's time for Toru Hagakure. I know I probably mispronounced that, whatever. She is the invisible one. She's invisible, you can't see her. Ooh, or something. Anyway, time for her. Let's see what she's going to be winning here. She's going to be winning outdoor cleaning fluid. There was me thinking I got rid of all the comedy cul-de-sacs. I suppose it is appropriate given where things currently are in the main story. You know, Japan's kind of been turned into a bombed out, desolate, post-apocalyptic wasteland, so she could use the outdoor cleaning fluid to help with the repair work. You know, she could sweep up all the blood from all the stuff that's been happening in the main series. It's all looks spick and span now. This bombed out home is now it's slightly less crappy than it was before. Anyway, we'll move on. I've said we move on way too much. I know it's a crutch phrase. I should say it less often, but that's just where we are. We now move on to Koda, who, in the first attempt that I did of this, he won something that was incredibly inappropriate for his character. He won the insect repellent, and bearing in mind that his superpower is it allows him to speak with animals and insects, that would have been, yeah. It would be like giving a vegan a voucher for McDonald's. Like giving him a bowl full of fried chicken or something. And instead he wins this time 50 coins from around the world. This is just like a collection of just coins from around the world. Specifically 50. I don't know if each of these coins come from 50 different nations. It could end up being that it's just 50 coins from the same country. I've got a feeling that it's ultimately going to be coins from nations where it's cheap to get those coins in. Like, it's not going to be a handful of coins for, I don't know, some nations in Europe, because, you know, that would be kind of cost ineffective. It's going to be probably coins that are no longer legal tender. It doesn't matter, really. It really doesn't matter. I don't know why I'm giving time to think about this, because I'm not buying these things, and these characters don't exist. So yeah, there you are. He's won some coins. He's won coins. Now it's time for the main character from the main series, Izuku Midoriya, the big protagonist himself. Is he going to win himself a protagonist level prize? Or, like much of the most recent series, is he going to feel sidelined in his own life story by getting a prize itself is just kind of bland and uninteresting? He wins! Toilet spray! Well, I suppose that answers the question. He's won toilet spray. Spray for your toilet. The idea is that when you've made a smelly poo-poo, you spray it in, and now you can't smell the spray poo-poo. Of course, you could just flush the toilet and use a regular spray that's in the room, or light a candle or something, but hey, it's an option there. Yeah, again, I probably should have cut out more from the comedy cul-de-sacs, but it doesn't matter. Look at this wheel. You can almost make out everything on it. Earlier, when I was doing this, there was still so much crap on this wheel, you couldn't read anything. It was mostly still the stuff that wasn't interesting that was left. Anyway, move on. We kind of went into this big and heavy and wild by giving poor Pop Step the Dick Cheney training card, but hey, maybe Shoto Todoroki will win something cool and interesting. Something that's hot and spicy. Who knows? That's a joke because he can use like fire and ice as his powers, so maybe he'll win something related to that. And he's won! Now, from a certain point of view, you could argue that he's both appropriate but also horribly inappropriate, you know, because it's to be fair though, it's a poster that's effectively says it's okay to not be okay, it's okay to struggle. You know, fine, perfectly fine with that messaging, appropriate, but at the same time, given, you know, the kind of stuff that he and his family's had to been dealing with over the past few years, it kind of feels like a little bit tone deaf, but sure. Don't worry. I know you've got an abusive family and your brother's trying to kill you, but hey, hang in there, baby. Live, laugh, love. Almost won the Barry Bonds card. Maybe I hope that we win the Barry Bonds card. I hope that we do that, and that's for the one thing I'm hoping that comes through. I say that hoping that Mineta isn't the one that wins it. And also hoping that Barry Bonds hasn't done something horribly problematic in the lead up to this video or after it. All that said, however, we'll move on. It's time for Mineta. Let's see what crap he is going to get. And I hope it is crap. And he's going to win. No, not the Barry Bonds card. He's won the yes-no coin. The yes-no coin. You know how back in the day, you know, oldsters, if we wanted to make a decision or something, we'd go heads or tails. Well, now in the modern era, where kids don't know what heads or tails is, they now have a coin that just says yes or no. Alright, granted, that isn't actually the real origin of it, but it's just a coin that says yes or no, so instead of doing heads or tails. Though I suppose that given the kind of questions that Mineta's going to be asking it, it's just going to say no all the time. Whatever you're thinking, Mineta, just no. No. Believe no. No means no. For God's sake, no means no. Our next contestant on the wheel. It's going to be Froppy. Because I can't beat Tsuyu Asui. Whichever way you want to say it round. Whichever way you want to pronounce it. It's your choice. It's Christmas time, man. Yeah, let's see what she's going to win. Hopefully it's something interesting. Because she has a knack for getting the most bland and interesting stuff. She's going to win. She's going to win the disposable gloves. I'm starting to see a bit of a pattern emerging here. We've had the toilet roll. We've had the cleaning fluid, and now we've had the disposable gloves. I hope this isn't a sign that there's another pandemic coming round the corner. If so, you heard it here first, and if so, I'm sorry. I'm horribly, horribly sorry. If not, then, ha 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 ha! What irreverency this is turning out to be. We move on. We move very much on to Aoyama. Now, I could make several jokes as to what he may or may not be winning next. And granted, I don't know what it's going to be, so I can't really make a specific comment. But we'll see what it could be. I'll keep it as spoiler-free as I possibly can do. Because I could make several jokes about it, really. I nearly did last year. And instead he wins insect repellent. And there is a temptation to try and contextualise and say as to why that would be appropriate, but that would be spoilers. So I'm not going to do and say that he's won insect repellent. Which is wholly unuseful for him as a superpower. I was going to say that he could use it to make a flamethrower, but he has a laser. Laser kind of beats flamethrower. Don't at me with that. I don't want to get into an argument about it. But it just does. We now move on to Tenya Ida. Again, another character seems to have a knack of winning bland and uninteresting prizes. But maybe this time he won't. Maybe he'll win the Barry Bonds card. We've come very close. There's a lot of coins on this list. Even with me taking a lot of them off, there's still some more coin-based prizes. And he wins Skeeter Repellent. Okay, mosquito repellent, but I put Skeeter Repellent because it's more whimsical, it's more wacky, it's more interesting, it has more of a flavour to it. It's mosquito repellent. He can use it to repel mosquitoes, or to make sure Mineta gets back in his box when he's being a weird little perv goblin. So that's an option. It's Christmas, Christmas, Christmas time it is. Time for Uraraka, who, if I remember correctly, last year was the one that wore the Dick Cheney training card. This time it was poor old Popstep who won it right off the bat, so maybe this is the year she wins something cool and interesting, or maybe not. Could it be? Is it a Christmas miracle? Is it? Yes! That's another weird random trading card you can add to a list. It's Barry Bonds! He saved Christmas! Barry Bonds! The Barry Bonds rookie card. Oh God, I hope he's not a sex pervert. I hope he's not done something inappropriate. Because if so, oh God, this video is going to be really uncomfortable to read in a few days after it goes out. You know, in hindsight, I probably should have investigated that before I put him on the reel and before I wrote this. You know, just make... What's fair that I've got Dick Cheney on there, so, you know... It's talking about inappropriate. You know what? We'll just move on. We'll just move on and just say she's won either the other whammy prize or she's won something interesting. You know, there's three ways that could roll out. It's just a trading card. It's a trading card of ooh, maybe not, or a training card that's actually super rare and valuable, which will help her family, seeing as they're not really doing all that well in terms of money in the main series. We now move on to Tokoyami, who is the cheapest son of a bitch on One's Justice. I mean, seriously, I had to fight that fight with him so many bloody times. We'll move on. I was going to say something inappropriate. No, I was just going to call him a cheap bastard. But anyway, doesn't matter. He doesn't exist, so you can't write in to complain. He wins a snow cone maker. I've never really seen the point of snow cone makers. Because, well, for a start, usually whenever I try and make a snow cone, I'll have a snow cone made for me. All the fluid, all the, like, tasty juice stuff just goes to the bottom and you spend 5 minutes eating ice. Which isn't really all that pleasant. But whatever. You know, who am I to judge? Who am I to judge? A lot of people out there like snow cones. So, you know, you do you. No, to be fair though, it does go really nice if you're having like a drink or something. Mixes well into it, I suppose. I've spent more time talking about the snow cones in the past few minutes than I've done anything else. We now move on to Shoji, who was the main character in what is probably my favourite story from My Hero Academia of the past series, and probably, well, past season I should say, and probably of the entire series as a whole entity. But anyway, we'll see what he wins. Let's hope it's something good, because that episode has really turned me around on him. And he's one cleaning car putty. You know, it's a kind of putty thing you're supposed to, like, stick into, like, the hard-to-reach areas of your car to pull all, the dust and crap out of it. I don't think he's old enough to drive a car, so he could always just throw it at some bigot that thinks he's a monster because he's a heteromorph. Just throw it straight at him. Fuck him. He don't look like one of us. No, that's fine. Just do that instead. It's fine. He's won some cleaning card fluid. I'm sure it has other uses. If nothing else, you can just use it like some gack. Just stick it in a thing, just go to make funny noises. Now it's time for Koichi, aka Crawler, our last character from Vigilantes, and he is our penultimate. I think that's how you pronounce it. One before last. So see what he wins. He could win something appropriate, because there's still some stuff that actually is some way appropriate, and some stuff which is, you know, just kind of goofy. So we'll see. I think that this is the one that we're going to end up using as the official video when all is said and done. And he's won the replica wrestling belt. Well, to be fair, this character, he genuinely believes that the All Might branded hoodies that he has gives him power. So if he believes that this replica wrestling belt gives him power, then maybe it unlocks a whole new raft of abilities and powers for him. He can give him the old crawler choke slam, or the flying space bastard. I don't know wrestling moves. I haven't watched wrestling really seriously since like 1993. And then again, maybe like 2016, 2017, when World of Sport Wrestling came back for a hot minute. But anyway, just to clean the wheel, just in case we have to do another video after this, which, spoilers, we're probably not, it's time for Momo Yaoyayorozu, a character who, in lore, is stupidly wealthy. Wealthy to a point that it's almost unfair. So, you know, whatever she wins is something she'll get for herself anyway, so in this regard, it's the thought that counts. Or maybe the lack thereof, given what random crap we still have on here. So we'll see what she wins. Maybe it's a bit funny. Maybe something that's, it's not funny. It's just a pair of kiddie binoculars. Which, on the one hand, sure, it's an appropriate present, but in the sense that it is like a toy, a gift thing. Like a genuine gift, not just some random thing that you'd find in the hardware section. But on the other hand, it does mean that, well, now it's time to do Eri Spin. And there's not a whole lot of stuff that's left on here that's really appropriate for a child. I reflect that might be a bit of a problem, and that maybe I should have put some more prizes on here that were appropriate for children. But still, you know, she might. We'll see what we can get with it. We'll see what we can get. You know, she's a poor little abused orphan child, so we'll hopefully get something that is appropriate for her and something that is inspiring, something that really can be a beautiful Christmas moment for her. And she... No! This can still work! she's won baseball cards, which is kind of appropriate because baseball is a sport that's popular in Japan, and I'm sure that there's some super cool baseball-themed characters in My Hero Academia's wider world. I mean, there is an OVA, which is baseball-themed, so it's not the worst thing in the world for her to win. I think that, though, in the interest of fairness, because over the past few years we've had to spin again, and she's technically got 2 prizes out of it, so let's spin again and hope that this final thing that she gets is going to be appropriate and fun and cute and adorable, and something we can go, ha 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 ha, oh, what a wonderful world, and not something that makes us go, oh crap, that was a waste of time. And she's gonna win. Oh, the resetting target resetting thing. Okay, so that's still technically a toy, and she very almost won, and I'm not going to delete this part of the wheel and just leave it there. She almost won the picture word bingo, which also would have been appropriate for her. You know, hey, no, I'm getting an idea, right? She's got the baseball cards, and then maybe that inspires her to become like a baseball player, or become like a baseball-themed superhero, so then she gets the resetting card, target resetting things, so that she can practice her pitching. Wow! Hey! We've created a new superhero. Wow! Oh my god! For the first time, I think in the years I've been doing the Secret Santa, Eri has actually won stuff that's kind of appropriate for children without needing to come up with some bullshit excuse as to why it is. Hooray! It's a Christmas miracle! I mean, sure, it meant that Popstep won the Dick Cheney trading card, but she took one for the team. There's the part of me that kind of wants to spin again for the sake of her, you know, but on the other hand, I think that, no, I'm sure she'll be fine. I'm sure that she will, but she doesn't exist. She doesn't exist, so I don't need to worry about this stuff anyway, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, and I think that last year she won something that was kind of appropriate anyway, so it kind of works out. And hey, last year Uraraka won the Dick Cheney trading card, and this year she got the Bobby Boris Pickett one, or whatever it was. So, hey, maybe next year she'll win some appropriate. Anyway, with all that said and done, enough waffling from me. Let's go back to me from the future. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! And so concludes this year's Secret Santa video. Things went rather smoothly in the end, didn't they? No fooling around, no need to respin, just silliness, fun for all the family. Minus the swearing and such, but hey ho, who am I to judge? God almighty, I hope I haven't predicted the future, and really, I should do a little bit more double checking on the subject matter of some of the prizes, but hey ho, it was all done in good spirits in the end. With all that said and done, once again, I have to say thank you all for watching. I hope that you have a great festive period, whatever you celebrate, regardless if you celebrate anything at all. I hope you find peace and kindness in every moment of it. I know that this year has been hell for a lot of people, and with some days feeling like weeks and some weeks feeling like months, and I hope that this coming year will be calmer and more prosperous for you, your family, and all those that you care for in ways and means that you could never imagine. I hope that 2025 will be the magical future year that you hope it to be. With all that said and done, however, I'll say thank you all for watching and see you next time. Ho 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 ho! Merry Crimbos!